So on this video, we are going to be talking about 5 mistakes to avoid making in your 20s. I'm in my 20s and I have officially left the mid-20s. I turned 27 this year, which is even very crazy to say because I am still very much a teenager. Like, it's giving anticipating reaching my sweet 16. Like, I'm not even quite 16 yet. And I can't believe that I'm going to be 30 in 3 years. Yikes. Yikes. Oh my god. Okay. Existential crisis. Yeah, 5 mistakes to avoid making in your 20s. Our 20s are very much our formative years, right? These are the years that we have energy and power and time. In many ways, it feels like we have time. The stakes are lower than they've ever been. This is the time to form our lives and, you know, set a trajectory for the sort of life that we want to live and do all of the groundwork basically. So in this video, I'm going to be telling you 5 mistakes that you should avoid making in your 20s to set yourself up for a successful remainder of your life basically. So yeah, let's get into it. Guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is OIZA ALONGE and I create content around intentional living and creative expression with an emphasis on self-awareness and self-development. If this is your first time on this channel, I am so excited to have you here. We do amazing things on this channel and I am sure you will enjoy the ride. And if you are coming back, then welcome back. I'm so ecstatic to have you here. I would not be here without you, so thank you for coming back. I hope you enjoyed this video, so see you in the video. Already established that your 20s are your formative years, right? They're for learning, they're for growth and exploration and building. So to get into the 5 mistakes that I think you need to avoid making in your 20s, the first one that comes to mind is neglecting financial responsibility and not being financially prudent. This one this one is one that I've learned in the last maybe 2 years, I would say. And the reason why I've learned this, I guess, slower than other people learn it is probably privilege, to be honest. I've grown up very sort of sheltered and I'm an only child. My parents have done everything for me for as long as I can remember, honestly, and even now, you know, they still do a whole lot for me. And I guess that meant that I learned this a lot later than some other people my age that have, you know, gotten independence faster than I have managed to learn it. I only learned this when I, you know, moved away from home and started my own life in a different country and all of that stuff. But yeah, neglecting financial responsibility it's a big mistake. It's big, it's very big, and it's life-threatening because you'll be in danger if you are poor. Okay, jokes aside, your 20s are the time for you to build financial literacy. You want to understand money, understand how taxes work, understand how earning works, really understand investment, understand savings, understand how to build wealth and how to set up yourself for future success when it comes to money. This is not the time to be super frivolous. Like, you don't want to spend all the money that you're getting. You don't want to be in a place where you're living hand to mouth. And I know that, again, this sounds very privileged because you have to have a certain amount of money to even consider saving and consider investment. But it is important to try and understand the principles at the very least, and with the little that you have, whatever that little looks like, try to start practicing these principles. This is not the time to rack up debt. It is so easy to get into debt, like you will not even realize it, especially with the way the world is evolving. You know, there's a lot of financial leeway, I guess, that is available for you. You know, credit is available for you. There's all these buy now, pay later things, you know, and these should be good things that help you. But if you don't know how to handle certain things, you will just very easily build debt as opposed to building wealth. So this is the time to do all the learning, read all the books. Nobody trolls self-help book readers like me, because I would so much rather read fiction and read something that's enjoyable as opposed to reading several how-to books. but growing up has made me realize that yeah, it's not that bad. You have to learn certain things and prioritize certain things. So yeah, get books that will help you learn about your finances. There's Smart Money Woman, there's The Psychology of Money, you know, all of these other really great books. I can't think of many on the spot, but read, watch YouTube videos, take a course if you need to. Just try to understand how certain principles work, because a lot of these principles are replicable. So if it's attainable for other people, chances are you can replicate that success as well. But you cannot replicate the success that you don't know, and you cannot replicate it if you don't have the tools to do this. So again, one big mistake to avoid making in your 20s is not building financial discipline and not being financial prudent and being responsible with your finances. Some people are of the opinion that money is to be spent, you know, like it is people that are alive that flex. And what's the point of storing all your money when you don't know if you'll die tomorrow? And then there's all the other, you know, extreme where it's like, I have to save and I have to save and I have to save. And for a lot of people, some of these things are trauma responses, you know, and it shows itself in different ways. There are people that, you know, grew up with a lot of affluence and everything came easy. So because of that, they just have that very laissez-faire attitude to money and they are frivolous, if you so to speak, right? And then there's people that probably didn't grow up with much or grew up with decent amount of money and lost it at some point, and so now they're almost obsessive when it comes to saving and working. So I would say it is great to find some sort of balance and equilibrium, if you will, so that you are taking care of yourself, prioritizing self-care, doing the things that you need to do, and even doing the things that you want to do, but also doing it within moderation and with reason, so that you are not robbing your future self for present gratification. I always ask myself, what do I have to do in the moment to make sure that future OIZA has a better and easier life? And I mean, sometimes I do be shitting on future OIZA and doing the things that present OIZA wants, you know, but it is good to have like a general sort of mindset around prioritizing your future self and putting things in place to ensure that in the future you don't regret the things that you did in the present. The second thing is not learning time management and either overcommitting to things or basically not knowing how to manage your time. Time management is huge. You know, it's one of those things that you pop on your CV as a skill, like I'm good at time management, but are you really good at time management? How do you manage your day-to-day activities? Do you find that most times at the end of the day it feels like you haven't achieved anything that you set out to achieve at the beginning of the day? Even at work, when you start your work day and you have a list of things that you need to get done by the end of the day, how many times do you actually complete your day's tasks in the hours that have been allocated to work? Time management will help you a lot, not just in your productivity and being able to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish, but also to have and live a balanced life. Because if you're terrible at time management, for example, your work day always spills over to your personal time, and now you're contracted to work at 9 to 5, but because you never finish your tasks at 5, you find yourself working till like 8 o'clock, and now you don't have any time to do things in your own personal life. There's absolutely no work-life balance. And I'm not even speaking of this from the perspective of like toxic work culture where you are expected to work till 8 even though your contracted hours, you know, ends at 5. I'm talking about that sort of inner guilt that you have as a person that does not allow you to close your laptop or sign out of work because you know that you have deadlines and you have things that need to be done as soon as possible. So you really want to practice time management even in your personal life. You don't want to be the friend that's always late to events, you know. You don't want to be the friend that can never show up at 12 when we've all agreed to meet at 12. It's not a good look, it's not cute, it's not nice, and it makes you not to be reliable in a sense. And all of these are just, you know, frivolous and external things, but if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, right, the goals that you've set for yourself, you will not achieve them at the time that you expect to achieve them if you are terrible at managing your own time. The things that you needed to do, like the course that you needed to finish in a month or 2 months, self-paced of course, that would allow you to start applying for certain roles by month 4, that would then allow you to increase your income by month 6. you haven't finished it in 2 months because you don't know how to prioritize time management. Now the whole year has finished. Course, you didn't finish. New job, you didn't apply. Increased earning, you didn't get. Why? We can draw a straight line from it to the fact that you are incapable of managing your time properly. So yeah, that is a huge mistake that you want to avoid making in your 20s. This is the time to build habits that will set you up for success. So practice time management, learn how to pace yourself. If it means, having a to-do list, scheduling things, putting things in structure, using a calendar, scheduling your day and making sure that you know where you need to be at every time and you know what you need to be doing at every time, it will be very helpful. And I think that is an amazing habit to develop already. The third mistake that I think you need to avoid making in your 20s is prioritizing perfectionism. Is that the word? Yes. Perfectionism, being a perfectionist, over exploration. I started off this video by saying that your 20s are the time in your life when the stakes are lower than they have ever been. They will never be this low. This is the time to make mistakes. This is the time to fail. This is the time to explore. Your risk appetite is higher now. Why? Because the rewards are high and the bad that can come out of failing is lower. It's not when you're in your 30s or 40s with like a wife or a husband and children and risk, the stakes are high, that you want to start exploring. It's okay not to be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to grow. It's okay to follow a process. Everything doesn't have to be a certain way. Everything doesn't have to fit a certain mold. It's okay to explore now. This is the time to explore. You have the energy for it. You have the time for it and the capacity for it even. So this is not the time to be so rigid on wanting such a curated life experience or a curated life aesthetic. It's okay to explore, get to know yourself, make mistakes, fail, pick up yourself, start again. So many times I hear people talking about how their 20s were boring or they didn't get to explore their 20s. And this is not to say that it is a death sentence and once you cross into 30 you can't do any of these things anymore. But I'm just of the opinion that stakes are lower now, so this is the right time to sort of do some of these things. So again, a mistake I would avoid making is to be over obsessed with perfectionism and to let go of exploration and just live a very secluded, shielded, non-explorative life. You don't want to do that. The fourth thing that I think is a huge mistake to make in your 20s is neglecting your physical and mental health. Mental health, it goes without saying. You want to prioritize your mental well-being. I know that even as Africans, Nigerians, mental health is not something that is very talked about or very celebrated or appreciated, for lack of better words, right? There still is a lot of stigma around mental health issues and depression and anxiety and even proper mental health conditions like neurodivergence, for example, or I don't know if neurodivergence is a mental health condition, and I just realized that can come off as ableist, and that is not my intention. So please forgive me if I have made a mistake and correct me in the comments. I'm open to corrections, but I guess you understand what I'm trying to say, like schizophrenia, other mental health issues that people suffer with, basically, that are not autism, different things that are not really prioritized in the African context or the Nigerian context. The world is changing, our generation is different, or I believe it should be different, and resources exist now, help is available, there are professionals that you can speak to, there are communities around things like this that you can learn and grow and develop and just seek help. You don't want to neglect your mental health in your 20s and ever, but especially not in your 20s, because my 20s have really felt like I'm a fish out of water in many ways, and I don't think I would have come this far or grown as much as I have if I wasn't seeking out support and learning and tapping into everything that's available for me to become better and to develop and to grow. Another one is your physical health. This one is one that I would say I'm learning very, very late, and is prioritizing my physical health. Like, I will not lie and say that I have led a very healthy life, like, or an active lifestyle, or prioritize my eating. In fact, I used to suffer with an eating disorder. You know, I had binge eating disorder, and it's something that I suffered with and dealt with for a very long time. And I'm only now in the last year, you know, relearning my relationship with my body, my relationship with food, becoming more active and trying to prioritize being active, and, you know, prioritize being healthy as well. And it's not that I was lazy per se, but growing up I used to be sick a lot. You know, I had issues with my knees. There were a lot of things that did not allow me to embrace an active lifestyle from being a child. And so obviously, as I came into adulthood, I continued those things. You know, like, I never did any sports as a child because I had health issues that didn't allow me to do sports. And because I never did any sports, I never had any interest for sports or physically active things, if you may. So that eventually meant that becoming an adult, I was leading a very sedentary lifestyle. And you can imagine what that meant for my weight, my health. You know, it's a lot, and I don't want to give you too much information or do so many TMI things, but I was really sick, and I'm only becoming better now because I'm making the changes that need to be made. This is probably a story for another video. But yeah, your 20s are not the time for you to neglect your physical well-being. Exercise, eat the right things, feed your body what it needs to be fed. Self-care is not eating junk, at least not all the time. You know, sometimes don't feed your body just what it wants, feed your body what it needs. Start taking vitamins, take supplements, you know, take care of your body, your skin, your hair, your skin, your hair, your gut health, every part of your body. Do not neglect any part. And again, that also includes your mind, and that's why I started off by talking about mental health. I think it would be a huge mistake and a very big disservice to yourself to just neglect these things in your 20s, because you're aging, your body is different. Like, even as a woman, right, turning 25, turning 26, the things that have happened to my body, nobody told us about these changes that we would experience. Like, it's crazy with your cycle, with just your body is just turning on its own. And I can only imagine that it only gets worse from here and it goes downhill. So now that you still have youth on your side, I think it's a great time to prioritize your health, your physical and mental well-being. Okay. The fifth point is neglecting your personal and professional development. Life comes at you so fast, because how am I 27? I was 12 like last week. So 27 how? From where, as how? Like, it's crazy. Life comes at you so fast, and if you keep postponing, procrastinating, saying that you do things later, you just wake up and you're 37, and your career is not anything to, you know, reckon with, or not anything to talk about or write home about. And neither is your personality, because you haven't put in any work to grow yourself or to become better, to develop yourself career-wise. You're not taking any courses, you're not learning anything, you're not doing the job that you want to do, or creating a sort of trajectory of what it is that work looks like for you and what you want that area of your life to look like. And also personal development, like, you're not learning about emotional intelligence, you're not learning about empathy, you're not being self-aware, you're not being mindful, you're not practicing reflection, you're just living on vibes and inshallah in both your personal life and your professional life. It's a very big mistake. It is a very, very big mistake. I know that comparison is not something that we should do, right? But we're human beings, and sometimes we will compare ourselves to others. It's not ideal, and I definitely don't recommend it. In fact, I do the exact opposite, which is saying do not compare yourself with others. But it's a real thing, and it's a part of the human experience. So the last thing you want is to wake up 30 or 35 and look around you and see that all of your friends are excelling in their career, you know, they're excelling in their personal lives. Things are going great for them, and you're still sort of stuck where you were when you were 20 or 21. And if you're honest with yourself and you take stock, you will realize that the reason you are where you are is because there are certain things that you should have done that you didn't do, or there are certain things that you should have prioritized that you didn't prioritize. I mean, if you're not self-aware at all, you might sit down there and blame the world and blame everybody but yourself. And that is not to say that external factors cannot lead to you being in a position like that. But if you're being very honest in your taking stock of how you've ended up in the position that you're in, you will find that a lot of it, or a good percentage of it, has to do with the fact that you did not prioritize certain things when you should have, and you didn't do certain things that you were supposed to do when you were supposed to do them. And that's how you end up where you are. So yeah, that's a very huge mistake that I do not think anyone should be making in their 20s. So yeah, if there are any other mistakes that you think we should not be making in our 20s, let's hear about them in the comment section. Tell me as well. I'm still in my 20s, or whatever is left of it. So I'm still open to learning and I'm open to growth. I hope this video has been helpful for you. I also want to say that if these are mistakes that you are already making, it is not a death sentence. It is like a light bulb moment for you to do different and, you know, take stock, take account of everything, and try to, English has left me, try to chart a different course and do something different so that you can have different outcomes. There's still time, but the sooner you make the changes, the better for you. So yeah, I'll see you on the next one. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful, and yeah, bye.